Be'ezrat Hashem, the Gemara this morning, Guittin, page 90a. The Gemara is discussing a very interesting subject, how to look upon your wife, which means the way that you think about your wife and the way that you behave towards your wife, which means the following. Tanya, Rabbi Meir Barnes is teaching us, Keshem she'adeot b'machal, the same way there is certain opinions about food. Each person has different opinion about food. Some people like to eat harif. Some people would like to eat only sweet. Some people would like to sometimes sweet, sometimes harif, right? Which hot. It's different opinions, but there's also certain opinions about the way to look at food. You're going to see in a few minutes. So the same way there's different opinions about food, there's different opinions about one's wife, which means יש לך אדם, says Rabbi Meir Barnes, certain people, שנפל זבוב לתוך כוסו. A fly falls into his cup of wine, his cup of juice, his cup of water. It doesn't make a difference. What happens, the person is so disgusted, he throws the whole thing. He throws the fly, he throws the juice, he throws the wine. He cannot drink anymore from that cup. Says Rabbi Meir, Zo midat Papus ben Yehuda. This was the quality of a man at the time of the Talmud called Papus ben Yehuda. Shayano el bifnei ishto. He would lock his wife in his house, and he wouldn't let his wife even to go to her own family, her own parents, brothers, for sure not to talk to neighbors and not to talk to any friends. He was so jealous. He didn't let his wife go anywhere. This is a very bad quality. This is not a quality that a wife or anybody could support. This is too much. Then there is a man, says, there's a man, a fly would fall into his cup, he would throw the fly, and then he drinks the cup, the juice, the wine, because a fly, right? What can he do already in the cup of water? Just fell inside. Take a spoon, pick him up, throw him out, and drink the rest of the wine or the juice or the water. Vezoi midat kol adam. That's a quality of a normal person. Shemedaberet imachea. He lets his wife talk to her brothers, v'krovea, to her relatives, to her parents, right? And sometimes even to the neighbors, right? This is a normal thing to do. But there's a third quality in a person. Shezvuv nofel letoch tamchui. A zvuv, a fly would fall into his plate, and he's so bad, Adam Ra, that he eats the whole thing. He eats the food with the fly. He doesn't care. He says, what? It doesn't make a difference, right? This is a person, says the Gemara, she goes out dressed terribly, right? Attracting attention from all sides, right? And this person doesn't even care. She goes out with men. She goes to a bar and she sits there with men and she drinks, right? Or she calls boyfriends, right? He doesn't care. This is too much, right? The same way there's too much, like Papus ben Yehuda doesn't let his wife to talk to her family, it's too much also to let your wife talk to anybody, right? There's supposed to be some kind of decency and some kind of control between a wife herself and her husband, right? And it's supposed to be normal. So that's, the Gemara is teaching us that the husbands, right? They have to be very careful the way they conduct with their husband, with their wives. The same thing is with kids, right? You cannot lock up kids in the house, but you cannot let them play with anybody or anyone, right? You're supposed to watch out. Who are your neighbors? Who are the friends of your kids, right? And you have to pay attention who are your kids playing with, right? Today is no problem. Today everybody's locked in the house. Why? You have the phones, you have the computers, you have the tablets, right? Everybody don't wants to go out anymore. Everybody is hooked up to a tablet. Well, you should check who are your children's friends on those tablets, computers, and cell phones, right? Because on the other side, there's evil people, right? There's bad people. And then you should watch out who are the friends of your friends, and you're not supposed to let them to talk to anybody or chat with anybody or text with anybody. Most of the problem in couples is when the ladies start texting, right, to anonymous people, and they start getting texts back and all this, and this is only trouble after trouble. We're supposed to have some control between a wife and a husband. Same thing is for husbands, not only for wives, right? And control between parents and their children. So it tells you over here, after that, when there is no more communication in the couple, what happens? Unfortunately, it gets to a divorce. And what happens? Amar Rabbi Elazar, teaches us Rabbi Elazar, Kol המגרש את אשתו ראשונה, whoever divorces his first wife, אפילו מזבח, even the altar in the temple, מוריד עליו דמעות, is crying for him. It's not speaking about a bad wife, a wicked wife, a wife that really tortured their husband, right? That's for sure. It's a mitzvah to divorce her, right? Divorce sometimes is a mitzvah, like getting married is a mitzvah, right? But if there is no reason to get divorced, and if the reason to get divorced were not approved by rabbis, by counselors and everything, and the couple still went through it, right? To tell you, even the altar cries for this couple. So before getting divorced, right, get an advice of a rabbis. Don't get advice of counselors. Counselors, they just pull you and pull you and pull you. They pull your money out, and after 5, 6, 10 sessions, what do they tell you? Okay, so if you want, you can get divorced. Meanwhile, he made his money or she made her money, and then they tell you can get divorced. But as if you go to a rabbi, a respected rabbi of your community, a rabbi you're comfortable with, he would try his best to get the shalom, right? To bring you peace between the couple. So don't jump to conclusions. Go see somebody, but somebody that has that Torah. Why? Because getting divorced takes half an hour, takes $1,000, and you're divorced. But after that, for many, many months, you're thinking, I should not have done it, but because of your ego, you won't be able to go back. So a person should think twice what he does, but a person also should be decent towards his wife and his children, and should be control between a husband and a wife and a husband, and their children. I wish you a great day. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen ve'amen.